The political system of Americas. The political system of the Americas is characterized by a wide range of political systems and processes, as there are many different countries with their own unique political structures and traditions. However, there are some common features that are shared across the region. Many countries in the Americas have democratic systems of government, with elected representatives and a system of checks and balances. The United States, for example, has a federal system of government, with power divided between the national government and the individual states. The government is divided into three branches. 1. The legislative branch, Congress. 2. The executive branch, headed by the President, and 3. The judicial branch, headed by the Supreme Court. Other countries in the Americas have different forms of government, such as parliamentary systems or presidential systems. Some countries, such as Cuba, have one-party systems in which the ruling party dominates all aspects of government. Overall, the political systems of the Americas reflect the diverse cultural, social, and historical experiences of the region. Let's get into more detail to look at each branch in United States of America. The United States is a federal system of government, which means that power is divided between the national government and individual states. The federal government has specific powers and responsibilities outlined in the Constitution, while the states have their own powers and responsibilities. The government is divided into three branches: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch. Each branch has its own specific responsibilities and functions, and they work together to ensure that the government operates smoothly. The legislative branch is responsible for making laws. It is comprised of two chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate has 100 members, with 2 senators from each state, while the House of Representatives has 435 members, with the number of representatives from each state based on population. Together, they are responsible for passing bills and approving the federal budget. The executive branch is responsible for enforcing laws. It is headed by the President, who is elected every 4 years. The President is responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the government and is also the Commander-in-Chief of the military. The executive branch also includes the Vice President and the Cabinet, which is made up of the heads of various federal agencies. The judicial branch is responsible for interpreting laws. It is headed by the Supreme Court, which is made up of 9 justices appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate. The Supreme Court has the power to declare laws unconstitutional and can also settle disputes between the federal government and individual states. The separation of powers between the 3 branches of government is intended to prevent any one branch from becoming too powerful. This system of checks and balances ensures that each branch can hold the other 2 accountable and ensures that the government operates in a fair and democratic manner. Can immigrants work in American politics? Yes, immigrants who are lawful permanent residents or U.S. citizens can work in American politics. They can participate in political campaigns, work for political parties, run for office at the local, state, or federal level, and hold political appointments in government agencies. However, certain positions may have citizenship requirements, such as being a U.S. citizen to run for president or hold certain federal government positions. It's important to note that immigration status alone does not determine eligibility to participate in American politics, and individuals must meet other qualifications and requirements for the specific position or role they seek. There are several Indian Americans who have made significant contributions to American politics. Here are a few notable examples. Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is the current Vice President of the United States. She is the first woman, first Black person, and first person of South Asian descent to hold this office. Bobby Jindal. Bobby Jindal is a former governor of Louisiana. He was the first Indian American to be elected governor of a U.S. state. Nikki Haley. Nikki Haley is a former governor of South Carolina and former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. She was the first woman and first person of color to serve as governor of South Carolina. Ami Bera. Ami Bera is a current member of the U.S. House of Representatives from California. He was the third Indian American to be elected to Congress and is currently the longest-serving Indian American member of Congress. Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is a current member of the U.S. House of Representatives from California. He is the first Indian American to represent Silicon Valley in Congress. These are just a few examples, and there are many other Indian Americans who have made significant contributions to American politics at the national, state, and local levels. How are the three branches different? Here are some key differences and responsibilities of the three branches of the U.S. government. Legislative branch. The legislative branch is responsible for making laws. It is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Senate has 100 members, 2 from each state, and the House of Representatives has 435 members, based on each state's population. The legislative branch approves the federal budget and has the power to impeach government officials. Members of Congress earn a base salary of $174,000 per year. Executive branch. The executive branch is responsible for enforcing laws. It is headed by the president, who is elected every 4 years. The president is responsible for managing the day-to-day operations of the government, serving as the commander-in-chief of the military, and negotiating treaties with foreign countries. The vice president and cabinet are also part of the executive branch. The president earns a salary of $400,000 per year, while the vice president earns $235,100 per year. Cabinet members earn $199,700 per year. Judicial branch. The judicial branch is responsible for interpreting laws. It is headed by the Supreme Court, which is made up of 9 justices appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. The Supreme Court has the power to declare laws unconstitutional and settle disputes between the federal government and individual states. Members of the Supreme Court earn a salary of $255,300 per year, while judges on lower federal courts earn salaries ranging from $208,000 to $270,700 per year. Overall, the three branches of the U.S. government have distinct roles and responsibilities in governing the country, with checks and balances in place to prevent any one branch from having too much power. The legislative branch makes laws, the executive branch enforces laws, and the judicial branch interprets laws. Each branch serves the American people and is responsible for upholding the Constitution and protecting individual rights. Do you understand the Indian political system? Let's compare Indian political system and U.S. political system. The Indian political system and the U.S. political system have some similarities and differences. Here are some of the main differences. Structure of government. The U.S. has a federal system of government, with power divided between the national government and individual states, while India has a federal system with power divided between the national government and individual states, as well as local governments at the district and village level. The U.S. has a presidential system, where the president is both the head of state and head of government, while India has a parliamentary system, where the prime minister is the head of government and the president is the head of state. Election process. In the U.S., the president is elected through an electoral college system, while in India, the prime minister is elected by members of the parliament. The U.S. has a two-party system, with the Republican and Democratic parties dominating politics, while India has a multi-party system with several national and regional parties. Legislative branch. The U.S. Congress is divided into 2 chambers, the Senate and the House of Representatives, while India has a bicameral parliament, with the Rajya Sabha, Council of States, and the Lok Sabha, House of the People. In the U.S., members of Congress are elected for fixed terms, while in India, members of parliament can be dissolved at any time by the Prime Minister. Judicial branch. The U.S. has a federal court system, with the Supreme Court at the apex, while India has a federal court system, with the Supreme Court at the apex and high courts in each state. The U.S. Supreme Court justices are appointed by the President and confirmed by the Senate, while in India, Supreme Court judges are appointed by the President in consultation with other judges. Overall, the Indian political system and the U.S. political system have different structures, election processes, and legislative and judicial branches. However, both systems share the principles of democracy, separation of powers, and checks and balances to ensure that the government remains accountable to the people.